Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your show, Speak Your Mind. I'm so happy to be here with you again another Saturday evening. Tonight, we are going to have just the one telephone number, and you'll have to both text, I understand, or call through the same number. As you see, it is on the screen, 300 1949. I would also like to let you know that we are now on the internet, and the internet code is www.jtvlive.net. Go to live radio. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we are going to have an educational show, because this is coming up to elections, and as I speak to a number of you out there, I am convinced that a number of you are not aware of the importance of your constitutional rights, particularly the right to vote. The right to vote is of tremendous importance. It is the only real directive or positive say that you have in the election or the formation of your government. It must not be looked on lightly. It is something that people in the world fought for hundreds of years before they were able to vote. Yes, we're not going to take any calls yet. We would, in a short while, when I get through with the introduction, we will take some calls. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to deal with the Constitution tonight, because the Constitution is the guiding factor, is the most important document in the administration of government in the British Virgin Islands. The Constitution in any country is the supreme law of the land. I'm going to read to you from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sections this evening. And the first section in the Constitution I'm going to read to you is the powers to constitute offices and make appointments. That is how people are appointed in government, including the ministers. It says, powers to constitute office and make appointments, etc. Subject to Chapter 7 and any law for the time being in force in the Virgin Islands, the governor, in Her Majesty's name and on Her Majesty's behalf, may constitute offices for the Virgin Islands and make appointments to them to be held during Her Majesty's pleasure, and B, dismiss any person so appointed or take such disciplinary action in relation to him or her as the governor may think fit. So you understand there then that the governor is the one who creates offices and who hires and fires in all aspects. However, this does not or should not be taken alone or independently, because the governor is, in many cases, subject to the cabinet, and lots of decisions he makes. He has the responsibility to confer or refer to the cabinet before certain things are done. So it is clear here that the governor has the power to appoint and dismiss and to create offices. And he does this in the name of Her Majesty. The second part of the Constitution, which you must know and should always be familiar with, is Section 46. And Section 46 deals with the executive authority of the Virgin Islands. Now, before I read that section, let me tell you what executive authority is all about. The executive authority is the branch of government responsible for executing plans, actions, or laws. This is a very complex arrangement since the process takes so many different persons with so many different fields of expertise. It takes a lot of sensitive interaction. Even the proceedings of elected representatives and their decisions must fit into the sensitive and complex operation. The governor must be a wise and experienced administrator, since he is required to receive, review, and consider recommendations, views, and opinions of others, even though he has the power to stick to his own understanding. What then is the part that the individual BVI Islander must perform when it comes to governance and government? The most important thing that the BVI Islander has must play in exercise of their rights to vote. In other words, the most important thing you have is to vote and your exercise and rights to exercise and use it. It is a very important situation. It is very important to all citizens. For citizens to fail to vote is the same as betraying their country if they fail to do that. BVI Islanders, good governance and good government is determined by your votes. You must go to the polls, let your conscience be your guide, cast your votes, and let the government and elect the government of your choice. I will now go to the Constitution as it deals with the executive authority. And that is Section 46. It reads, "The executive authority of the Virgin Islands shall be vested in Her Majesty. Subject to this Constitution, the executive authority of the Virgin Islands may be exercised on behalf of Her Majesty by the Governor, either directly or through officers subordinate to him or to her, whether the governor is a lady or a gentleman. Nothing in subsection 2 shall operate so as to prejudice any law for the time being in force in the Virgin Islands, whereby functions are or may be conferred on persons or authorities other than the governor." So it tells you there that while the governor is the one that exercises executive authority, he is bound to do so under the laws of the Virgin Islands. I hope you're listening carefully, because this is your Constitution. There is no law in the Virgin Islands higher than your Constitution, and the better you know your Constitution, the more you understand your rights. Now, I want to go to section 50, summoning of persons to the cabinet. And again, summoning of persons to the cabinet. Whenever any business before the cabinet renders the presence of a public officer desirable, the Premier may summon such public officer to a meeting of the cabinet, and the Premier shall summon such an officer if the governor, acting in his or her discretion, so requests. So both the governor and the Premier can summon people to the cabinet, public officers, according to the Constitution. Where a matter before the cabinet concerns or relates to a statutory body, and the presence of an officer of the statutory body is considered desirable, the Premier may summon that officer to a meeting of the cabinet. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're listening carefully and you're understanding your Constitution. Nothing can be done contrary to the Constitution. If it is done contrary to the Constitution, it is null and void. Section 58, the Attorney General. Section 58. The Attorney General. There shall be an Attorney General of the Virgin Islands, whose office shall be a public office, and who shall be appointed in accordance with Section 95. The Attorney General shall be the principal legal advisor to the government of the Virgin Islands. Then you understand that. I think it's straightforward. I go to Section 9, Section 95 now, power to appoint to legal offices. I think the Attorney General, there's something about his appointment, but I don't seem to have it. I thought I had it. So I go now to Section 95. Let us see what Section 95 says. Power to appoint, etc., to legal offices. The power to make appointments to the offices to which this section applies, and to remove and to exercise discipline control over persons holding or acting in such offices shall rest in the governor. I want you to understand that. The power to make appointments to the offices to which this section applies, which is power to appoint, etc., to legal offices, and to remove and to exercise discipline control over persons holding or acting in such offices, shall rest in the governor, acting in accordance with the advice of the Judicial and Legal Services Commission. But you're going to find something about that later on. But the governor, acting in his or her discretion, may act otherwise than in accordance with that advice if he or she determines that compliance with that advice would prejudice Her Majesty's service. I want you to understand that the actual power is in the hands of the governor. The governor does not have to take any advice if he thinks it's not necessary from the Judicial Commission. So anything that is done to the Judicial Commission through the judicial government by the governor is the total responsibility of His Excellency the Governor himself. The Judicial Commission is merely an advisor, and he doesn't have to take their advice. Before exercising the powers vested in the governor by subsection 1, the governor may, acting in his or her discretion, once refer the advice of the Judicial and Legal Services Commission back to the Commission for reconsideration by it. If the Judicial and Legal Services Commission, having reconsidered its original advice under subsection 2, substitute for it a different advice, subsection 2 shall apply to that different advice as it appeals to the original advice. This section applies to the Office of Attorney General, Director of Public Prosecution, magistrates, and any office in the public service of the Attorney General chambers, or any registrar or other office of the High Courts who is required to possess legal qualifications. It is abundantly clear here by the Constitution that only His Excellency the Governor can appoint people to the courts and can discipline people in the courts and can dismiss people in the courts or in the legal system in the British Virgin Islands. And even though he may rely on advice from the Judicial Service Commission, he is not bound to take its advice. And the governor is also, and to such other officers in the public service for appointment to which persons are required to possess legal qualifications as may be described by any law or government policy for the time being in force in the Virgin Islands. So only the governor can appoint people who are required to have legal qualifications in order to hold a post. No person shall be appointed to the office of Attorney General unless he or she is qualified to be admitted to the Virgin Islands as a legal practitioner and has had at least 10 years practical experience. No person shall be appointed to the office of Attorney General unless he or she belongs to the Virgin Islands, unless, in the opinion of the Judicial and Legal Services Commission, there is no such person who is suitably qualified and able and willing to be so appointed. Well, I still think here the Judicial Service Commission is subordinated to His Excellency the Governor, and the Governor can act in his own rights, as has been said before. In other words, you can't have a Judicial Service Commission that can discriminate and abuse the rights, constitutional rights of a BVI lander, and the Governor can overrule that if that ever happens. But it is wise and is good wisdom for His Excellency the Governor to rely on the advice of the Commission in making these appointments. So wisdom overrules in all aspects of these actions that His Excellency shall take. No person shall be appointed to the office of Director of Public Prosecution unless he or she is qualified to be admitted to the Virgin Islands as a legal practitioner and has had at least 7 years practical experience as a legal practitioner. A person qualified under Section 7 shall be appointed to act in the office of Director of Public Prosecution whenever the office falls vacant and until a person is appointed substantively to that office, or whenever the holder of the office is for any reason unable to perform his or her functions, including by reason of suspension under Section 10. A person holding the office of Attorney General, Director of Public Prosecution, or Magistrate may only be removed from office for inability to discharge a function of his or her office, whether arising from infirmity of body or mind or any other cause, or for misbehavior. Where the issue of the removal of a Director of Public Prosecution from office has been referred to the Judicial and Legal Services Commission, the Governor shall suspend the Director of Public Prosecution from performing the function of his or her offices pending the outcome of the referral. Ladies and gentlemen, these are very important issues. Section 94, Judicial Legal Services Commission. Section 94. I wonder if I haven't read that already. No. Section 94. There shall be in and for the Virgin Islands a Judicial and Legal Services Commission, which shall consist of A, the Chief Justice, who shall be chairman, B, one judge of the Courts of Appeal or the High Courts nominated by the Chief Justice after consultation with the Governor and the Virgin Islands General Legal Counsel. C, the Commissioner of the Public Services Commission, and D, two other members appointed by the Governor acting in accordance with the advice of the Premier and the Leader of the Opposition, who will each nominate one member, at least one of whom shall be a legal practitioner. Ladies and gentlemen, you see how carefully our Constitution moves to ensure that the governance of this country is done properly. And I hope you understand what I have read tonight. I'm going to, in a short while, open up my show for calls, for comments, for questions. But I want you to understand tonight that the most important action that you can make in the governance of your country is to vote. It is important that every qualified voter goes to the polls and vote. You do not have to tell anybody who you're voting for. Just go there and vote your conscience. Of course, there are some people who have disabilities and require help. Well, special provisions are made for them to use the good services of another person, whether it be their wife, their daughter, their son, or a good friend. Provisions are made for that purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm now going to make the show open up. I'm going to open up the show. I want you ask me any question regarding the elections. It is very important that we understand the elections and you understand your positions and that you understand you must go to the polls and vote. Otherwise, you'll be a traitor to your own country. We're going to take a break, and when we're back, this show will be open up for you.
Want to save money and still maintain that style? Well, switch to Digicel, the bigger, better network. Buy a BlackBerry Curve 8520 for $99.99 and get 3 months free internet access on our selected plans. Digicel, the bigger, better network. Digicel terms and conditions apply.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're right back with you, and right now we want to swing our attention to Virgin Gorda, and in particular, I want to start off speaking about Virgin Gorda, about that lady whose hand was wrung out of place. Up to now, elected representatives have visited that lady to find out what happened to her. And since then, the same business concern is right there abusing more Beaver Islanders.
Yes.
Right there abusing more employees. So what are they doing up there tonight asking for votes?
Well,
I'm serious about that.
They're campaigning.
So you want to tell me now that people should be still giving them votes and they're ignoring them like that? It's a serious matter.
Yeah.
The guy who is doing that, the guy who is doing that to the staff should have been out of here already, so that it doesn't happen again, so that there's no repeat of the same wicked behavior. The people are not his property. He cannot treat them like Arthur Hodge did, because that's right where we are, right back to the days of Arthur Hodge in Virgin Gorda.
And Prosper.
And Prosper.
We have a couple of texts. Mr. Maduro, my husband worked for a company 12 years, paid his Social Security and all those years. Now he has a back problem. The doctor stopped him from working, went to Social Security more than 2 years now. Not a dime, Mr. Maduro.
For 2 years.
What can we do?
Well, I don't know the answer to that one. My God, I mean, you have a representative. The only thing I could tell you now is see a representative.
One of the 5, right?
Yeah.
The 4 at large and the 1 for the district.
Right.
See if one of them can help you.
Yes, that's the only advice I could give you now. If not, go to His Excellency the Governor. See if he could help you.
And that is a serious situation that the person should also find out if the Social Security was paid for the employee.
Right, yes.
Right? That, because sometimes people collect money for Social Security and not paid in.
That's true.
Yeah. The government helping who don't need help, and who need help, they're walking past you by some of them pretending like they don't know you. Not my ex this year.
Oh no, you got to go and vote.
No, I think the person is saying that the person who is doing that wouldn't get their ex this year.
That's what you mean? Excellent.
And, yeah, that's excellent.
That's excellent.
Let your ex send a message.
Let your exes send a message. But Connie, there are a few other things we wanted to bring up about Virgin Gorda.
Yes, we wanted to talk about the clinic. Yes, the clinic and the situation in Virgin Gorda, where if you get sick in Virgin Gorda, you have to take a ferry boat and come to Tortola to go to the hospital.
Well die before you reach
and you could very well die before you reach the hospital. And not the promises about Virgin Gorda, but over the years, nothing has really happened. Right. And that is a sad situation.
Well, nothing is happening with the beaches.
Nothing is happening
with the people who are being abused in the workplace.
And yet still, similar to what the caller just said, we're assisting
people who can
help themselves, who don't need help.
And ignoring those who need serious help.
We're talking about both governments, as a matter of fact, taking water to Nail Bay. And paving road to and stuff.
Wait for hold a while. They're taking water to Nail Bay.
They have already done it.
Government has done that.
Government has done it.
And they haven't fixed the sewage system here.
They haven't fixed the sewage. They're not fixing the sewage system.
What are the priorities of this place?
Okay. I just work here at Montfort Recovery. It is the truth. The young lady talking. There you go. Somebody verifying that what a young lady is talking is the truth.
Well, I would investigate that.
Thank God for Apex Medical Center. They are the lifesavers in Virgin Gorda. But I'm glad that people have an alternative, but I also like to point out to our viewers that not everyone is in a situation to take care of themselves financially, to afford some of our medical services that we have in the territory. And we would like to see a more comprehensive system where everyone can get care.
Right.
And also that, I'm glad that Virgin Gorda have some alternative, but like the text that came in about Josh Van Dyke, what about Josh Van Dyke? And I would hate to even start mentioning Anegada, because we have to have a plan where all of us pay taxes.
But Courtney, now is a good time for people to speak out.
Now is a good time for people to speak out.
Respond.
We all pay taxes, and we should all be
respond with their votes in the right direction.
Vote recovery and giving the people their service charge. Treating a deaf girl bad. There you go.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, I don't even know what to say, because I
would investigate it.
We would have to rise,
because
bigger than
being
that.
a friend of the people down there for a long time, I'm surprised if they're doing that.
Yeah. But I'm saying, I think that when it comes to people with disabilities, right, we have to rise above that. We have to be more caring, and the texts are coming in, Edmund.
Why the texts are coming in?
Yeah. Good night. As a young person, I like your show because it keeps me updated with the pressing issues of our territory, but also because we're waiting on the communication here. Because it keeps me updated with the pressing issues territory, but also because it is in English. I thought the TRC was established to help us. Cable TV is a fine example of what monopolies are. That is so correct.
Yes, scholar, that is so correct. Yeah. Monopolies are serious, can be hurt seriously sometimes.
It have a number of Jamaican and St. Vincent living in Josh Van Dyke, catching people goats and selling, and they don't have any work permit. What can the government do about it? The government should already, there's a district officer in Josh Van Dyke. You should go and report to the district officer and have them take action.
Not only that, you can call directly to the immigration department.
Yes.
And have the immigration department take the necessary steps.
Yeah, because people can't just, people can't just take people.
No, you can't be doing that. Not only that, you can call the police and let them know that they're stealing and so on, etc. But you should have police officers over there too.
I'm a young 23-year-old, and I came out of school since 2007 and still can't get a job.
Lord have mercy.
Why should I vote? And there's no helping we young people when election time is done. They don't even know anymore and want we young people to vote.
Well, I'll tell you why you should vote. To get them out of your way.
Get them out.
Get them out. Vote them out of your way so you could get a job.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have some concerns from the young people. I understand they're getting registered to vote, which is a good thing. I think you should encourage more young people to register and listen to the campaign, listen to the promises.
Listen to the campaign.
And also...
And listen to those who have been helping you all these years. This show has been always there for you all the time. We've been always trying to keep you updated with what is wrong and what is right.
And let your conscience be your guide.
Let your conscience be your guide. I'm glad to hear the supervisor election say that a lot of young people are registering.
Registering, yeah.
That is so important.
Yep.
Young people, don't fail yourself. Continue to go, get registered, and be prepared to vote your conscience.
We need tax return here in the BVI. Well, that speaks about the what you call it, the tax system, the pay-as-you-earn, and now we used to have pay-as-you-earn, and now we have what is it, employment tax.
Well, you have
sorry?
You have different kinds of taxes.
You have different kind of taxes, but the one that we are stuck on right now is where only employees pay tax.
But what I'm saying, in terms of tax return, I think they're probably talking about income tax.
But I'm saying the type of tax that we have now, this tax system that we have now, only the working people pay tax. No corporations don't pay tax.
They're not paying taxes?
No, they don't.
Well, I can't swear to that.
But the government not studying us about no hospital in Virgin Gorda. They just don't care. Everything we need, we have to come to Tortola. That is true, Carla. That is true. And
a hospital is badly needed in Virgin Gorda for a number of reasons.
Virgin Gorda is where most of the tourists and people who work at the tourist places are local people. They need the same service.
But population-wise, the population of Virgin Gorda is considerable.
Yes.
And the taxes that really are coming from Virgin Gorda are also considerable.
Edmund, if you just take the banking situation where the banks have seen it necessary to establish branches on Virgin Gorda, would tell you that...
How many branches we have over there now? I think Scotia has one.
Scotia has one. First Bank has one. I think, I don't know of any more, but I think that's the two that we have over there now. Just let me get one of these taxes.
Boy, the taxes are busy.
We are talking, yes, we all pay taxes, but here on Anegada, it's only 2 persons get contracts and flourishing all the time. Guess those who are getting help will vote.
Anegada, we're glad to hear from you.
We're glad to hear from you.
We're glad to know that you're listening.
We're glad to know that you're listening.
And we want to tell you, don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
The sister islands are always placed on the back burner.
Yes.
That is true. Please, Virgin Gorda people, we need to change in Virgin Gorda. Don't be fooled by the bribes. All children already sucking salt. I'm glad that person make that point because, Edmund, if you sign a contract with a foreign entity for anything like 10 years, 15 years, you're talking about the future.
Yes.
The children.
The children.
Because if you're 18 years now, when that contract finishes, you'll be 28.
Exactly.
And some people out there saying that they're not mortgaging the children's future, but you're actually selling them out. When the BVI is going to build a pump-out station for boats and stop them dumping the waste in our waters, after a period of time it will ruin the waters and reefs.
Ruin the reefs, ruin the shoals.
And what will be, and what will we do? And to build a pump-out station for boats and stop them dumping waste into our waters. After a period of time, it will ruin the waters and reefs. And what will we do for tourism?
What would you do without tourism?
Without tourism.
Yeah.
That's a very
good text.
That's a very good text.
Very good text.
It speaks to the point that if you have something, what we call a cash cow, if you have something that's bringing money into the country, you have to protect it.
That's right.
You have to change with the times, and you have to make it better. You have to tweak it. You have to find out where the problems are and ensure that you have that golden goose.
The other thing that could be added to that, Courtney, is the paint on the bottom of boats.
The paint on the bottom of the boat,
to make sure that
it's the right paint.
Restricted, only the right
because
paint.
we have a doctor who went and did a thesis and found out that how it's making conchs grow two penis and all kind of stuff. Yeah, we don't.
In a short while, we would have no conchs.
We'll have no conchs.
Right.
Lack of proper medical facilities in Virgin Gorda ain't as bad as this Bupa insurance that nobody accepts. Well, Carla, I feel your pain, and you need. I think that more people in that group needs to get together and confront them and have it changed.
Yes.
People, and it's not working. We have a call. Yeah. Good evening. You've reached Speak Your Mind. Go right ahead, please.
Hello.
Hello. You're live.
Hi. Yes. This is for Mr. Castro, because I think he needs to stop misleading the people in terms of corporation paying taxes. They do not pay what's called taxes, but they have to pay fees, and there's a numerous amount of fees, incorporation fees, registration fees. They have to pay for their work permits every year. Some companies have to pay up to $25,000 a year. It's not called a tax, but it's a fee. And 8% is nothing, and you don't pay anything until after $10,000. So when you expect nobody to pay anything, how would we get revenue? These fees are what is our financial services. Mr. DiCastro, you need to stop. Have a good night.
Courtney, you wish to
No. He's taking the thing that I'm saying to another level. I was saying that we had a tax system that was a pay-as-you-earn system, right? And everybody was involved in it. But now we have a employee tax system where only people who work, right? The other monies that come in from finance, well, everybody knows there are other monies that come in from financial services where you have to register your company, you have to pay annual dues and all. I'm not saying that doesn't exist, but before the system was changed, all those banks had to pay some kind of a corporate fee. They don't have to do it anymore.
Maybe we have another.
We have two tax. But it just goes to show you, Edmund, that we need tax reform. 3 banks on Virgin Gorda. Some works. 3 banks on Virgin Gorda. Some works, bad attitude. All right. If client tell Ralph to build a hospital Virgin Gorda, he will build it only. Client is listening too.
I love that. He's a powerful man.
Okay.
What? Powerful man. I didn't really recognize that. We got another text. Boy, they're coming in by the millions.
I mean, you may not be aware, but sometimes we get all in a range of 70 texts sometime in one night. I just try using my Bupa-Card abroad, and no doctor taking it. Help. You really need help, caller. And I made a suggestion. I hope somebody in the group take me seriously.
But you know, Courtney, what I can't understand, this company, the biggest in the world.
We need rent control. There again, you're not going to get rent control unless a number of persons take action.
Courtney, I want to speak on this renting business. Lots of landlords think that they can treat tenants like dogs. And I agree with this caller. You need serious tenancy
agreement
laws,
regulations.
Not laws.
Laws, okay.
To protect the innocent person who's being treated like a dog.
Yeah.
You want to tell me a landlord could treat a tenant the way they want, and when they don't do what they say, they're going to turn off the water?
Yeah.
They refuse to rent? It's a serious matter.
And just to put a light over the door.
Not only that, threatening to cut off the electricity and all kind of thing.
Yeah. I don't think that those things are right.
They're not right.
I think
they're unlawful. You can take any landlord who does that to the high courts. You can sue them. Too much ignorance is going on here, and Courtney, that's one of the things this Beaver need badly right now. Tenancy laws, so that the poor people are no longer abused.
I think right now, because of the lack of anything in that area, it's probably going back on the old English tenancy agreements, right?
Even common law doesn't permit what they're doing.
No, I agree with you. But what I mean is...
What amazes me is to know that some of these agreements that they're given the tenants to sign are drawn up by lawyers who know better. And really, if I were in a town, you could find the lawyers who do these things. You should find some law somewhere to punish them.
Nobody never got this bad here yet, man. I don't know what you're talking. Why does the government pay their debts and stop putting on put? Oh boy. We've been hearing that story now for too long.
I keep on saying they must understand that the government and everybody the world over are in serious financial straits. It's not an easy situation.
Okay. I have lost my confidence in the politicians of today. Too much promises.
Well, it's a good statement.
It's a good statement, but if you don't have debates, it will only be promises. One party get up and make
what has
promise one, promise two, promise three.
Get rid of the promises.
Get rid of the promises.
Change and change and change till you get somebody who'd help you.
Good night. I am a Virgin Islander who has to learn the U.S. Constitution, who had to learn the U.S. Constitution, and I'm ashamed that I'm ashamed I wasn't taught the Virgin Islands Constitution in school. What's your views on teaching the Constitution in school? Definitely text.
The Constitution should be taught in schools. The Constitution
should be taught from in primary school.
From in primary school. Well, primary school might be a little early, but...
Yeah, but they could simplify, they can simplify the basic things in primary school, and then, of course, they should have an exam, in my opinion, as well, for persons who are wanting to become residents to know some basic things about the country, about the way it works.
Civics when we were going to school?
Yeah, but they don't. They take that out so long. They don't
take it out as education.
They don't have no civics. Yeah.
And we still going from good to great.
Good night, people on Virgin Gorda are fooled by subcontract for cleaning the roads. Good night, people on Virgin Gorda are fooled by subcontract for cleaning the roads. Okay. Let me read this one, Edmund, quickly. So we have 3 banks, and there is still more places will be opening to entertain more guest places like Oil Out, like Oil Out Bay, Oil Not Bay, and YCCS. So and YCCS, so we need a hospital, please, Dr. O'Neill, please.
No, Dr. O'Neill. But they're now talking about it.
It have the same problem at Peter Island with a South African engineer. I do not think we need these kind of people in here.
What's the same kind of problem?
It will probably be the racial kind of problem, Edmund.
Courtney, there's one thing I will not tolerate in the BVI is racism.
Vote for the right people. Don't be fooled. People go to the poll and do what you have to do. Look around and see what's going on. Time for a change. Vote for the betterment of the country. That's a very good text.
Text 100%.
I might have to read it over again.
Read it over again, Courtney.
No, another one. Anegada is watching and listening on the issue of landlord. Who to blame? The government? The person that sent that text, I'd like to send a message to you to say that in situations where individuals have a problem with another individual, that may be resolved, and if you can't get it resolved, you probably have to take legal action to get it resolved. But when something is happening to a number of persons, not just one person, a number of persons, we need laws in place to protect the entire group. In other words, to protect the community. That's why we have laws.
About 4 or 5 people have brought to me drafted contracts
that you would not sign.
Lords are telling them to sign.
That you would not
I will not sign them.
Exactly.
They're against all human rights.
Yeah.
And when they don't sign them, they threaten to throw them outside.
Yeah. We have a call. Good evening. You have reached Speak Your Mind. Go right ahead, please.
Hello? Oh Lord, you got disconnected. Please try again.
Try call back, caller. You got disconnected. Why is the bumper insurance so expensive? It has to be the contract that they was signed, that they signed with the
what
government.
I'm saying, Lloyd's of London gives an insurance that you could go any part of the world and get treatment.
Yeah.
Kids are free.
Yeah.
Why are we not, in fact, negotiating with them some sort of...
We have a good one here now, Edmund. What are the requirements to run for political office in the Virgin Islands? You have to be a registered voter. You have to be
21 years.
21?
Is it, I think so.
Or 25?
21.
21. You have to be 21 years of age. And you have to have 2 persons to nominate you.
At nomination. Is it 2 or 1?
I think it's 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. A nomination day. And call back. Yeah. Good evening. You've reached Speak Your Mind. Go right ahead, please.
Hello? Man, what is happening? Disconnected again? This was happening a while ago.
Yeah.
Is somebody messing up with the system?
No.
Who trying to make the...
Do we really need to extend the airport runway?
I don't think so. We need to put a proper airport in Anegada.
I want to say something on that, Edmund. I want to say that when we have development plans that are going to affect the entire territory, we need to come to the public and have a discussion on it.
Of course.
And this is where we're failing. We're failing the community because we refuse to discuss anything to do with development. And the people, the taxpayers, are who are going to pay for it.
Let's build the airport in Anegada. Let's build the appropriate international airport in Anegada. That's what I'm saying. We need it there. When we do that, Anegadians will be able to build businesses of any kind.
Well, if I say anything, the first thing you'll tell me is my grandfather from Anegada, so I would have to agree with
you. You got the text.
It said that we will have to delete some of these texts now because the text box full. Let me see if I could delete them quick and thing.
Some of them.
Dog.
You can't delete all.
Yeah, you could delete all, yeah.
But then some of them wasn't answered.
Yeah, man, we answered most of them. But we wouldn't be able to get any more messages if we don't delete them. So we could go again now. Okay. The people of Vojingara need to wake up. We have had the same representative for longer than I know. But a lot of texts are coming in. Then I know for longer than I know myself, and I am nearly 40 years old.
Yes.
Nothing has done to help us over here. Nothing has done to help us. All the texts coming in all the time. Over and
what's happening there?
The texts are coming in to help us over here. Only election. It is working. Only election time. He gives out all this money and contracts to cut bush, paint rails, and pave roads. These are the ones here. Vote out R.T. O'Neill. We need to finally move forward, Vojingara. Change is needed now. He is way too old for this and not doing enough for District 9.
There is somebody speaking out their mind.
Didn't the revisions to the Election Act speak something about where you live, voting in a living in the district or running in the district where you live? It didn't make some mention of that?
I really don't know.
We need to get a copy of that
but I want to
talk about that.
Speak to the last text.
Yes.
Caller, texter, is important you all speak out like you are speaking out there. And all you have to do when you go to the polls, make sure that you encourage everybody to go to the polls and vote your conscience. That's what we're saying all the time.
Yep.
And if you do that, surely then you would get better results.
Yeah. Edmund and Courtney, which political party are you affiliated with?
Well, I am not affiliated to any party right now. I don't know about you, Courtney.
Yeah. Why Anegada? Bad idea for an international airport.
I don't agree with that at all. Anegada needs development just like Tortola. As a matter of fact, putting an international airport on Anegada will be very good.
You got to see this one, Edmund. Happy birthday, Grandpa.
That's you.
Yeah. Thank you. What are your views on the Beef Island project being approved by the appeal court, even though it was stopped by the High Court? Well, the decision by the appeal court, right, speaks to a number of issues that were not raised in any lower court. So I think this is a situation, Edmund, where this case is going to end up going to the Privy Council.
Well, the people have a right to stand up for their rights.
Yeah, and you know, we may be in the Caribbean accustomed of, you know, being pro-development and not studying the environment for over 50 years, right? But change has to come.
But you know, Courtney, I'm not against the development, but the development must not be allowed to destroy the ecology.
The development should not break the law.
It should not break the law.
And according to our own judges, they're saying that there's no law here that governs any, not Beef Island, you know, any protected area.
Who says so?
The judges.
You have judges so stupid?
We have judges who say.
You have laws saying that that's
because the same law.
So why you make laws?
The same law for Beef Island is the same one for all the other.
So that's what they're saying now that they're appealing again.
That is what is going to end up going to the Privy Council.
They're saying that?
Yeah.
Going to.
It's not their choice to go to the Privy Council. It's the Environmental Council. It's going to take it to the Privy Council,
okay,
because that is the final court of appeal.
But that's how they're going to defend themselves?
That's how they're
taking another hair protected?
That's how they're going. Well, I don't know if they're going to defend it, but they will have to. That's what they said? They will have to defend it.
I'm asking you, that's what any legal man said?
That is what the Caribbean Court of Appeal said.
Could you bring me a copy of that?
You will have it.
I will read that on this air.
You will have it. You'll have it.
And bring it to me early so I could bring the laws that protect these areas.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will not vote this year, maybe next year.
No, you got to vote this year.
There's not going to be an election next year.
We're going to wind up in a while.
Yeah, we're going to have to wind up here. But
But I want
please
you
stress
to
about these non-British Virgin Islands going on people's land on Joshua Dyke, catching goats. And none of them have work permit for catching goats. Now, I don't know if you have a permit for catching goats, but it's a serious situation.
It's a serious situation. It's stealing. It's stealing the people's goats. If the goats are not
yeah, I mean, they should report it to the police.
We
had a problem when Rastafarianism had started, where people used to say everything belonged to Jah.
Yep.
So if they take it, you know, it's no problem. But yep. I think we've gone past that now, Mr. De Castro. Yeah, you're looking land too. Maybe you might get your title. No, Carl, I'm not going to get no title, okay? They wouldn't give me any title.
You have to.
Why Anegada? Bad idea for international airport. You may think so because you have done the study.
Yeah.
Good night. I have 3 persons need removing, leadership, and then we will see the light, and we know who they are.
Do what you have to do.
Love the show tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
It's time for Ralphie to move to the antenna.
No.
These people. Where is government putting a planter in the middle of Beef Island Road and not just putting up speed bumps? I will not vote this year. Maybe okay. I already tell them you can't vote. You can't vote. I had a girlfriend for 4 years and I treat twice. And a baby come and she took one and her ex who never did nothing for her, he married and have his wife, and she something him inside where we live. Is that right? No, it ain't right. Explain why Anegada bad weather it will sink with the weight. Oh, Lord. I mean, come on.
Nonsense.
Good night, Mr. Medu. I like to tell that person that the Turks and Caicos Islands, Cayman Islands, Bermuda, Bahamas, all of them have the same makeup.
Same coral formation.
The same coral formation,
right.
like Anegada.
The same height about 11.
The same height about
right.
11, yeah. Anyways, text. I think we probably could look at one last text.
One last text, yes.
Edmund. It's under development. Emergency plan need proper ferries and correction to inform. Just like every other place. I mean, come on. Yes, good. Yes, good evening. You speak your mind. Go right ahead, please. Hello.
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 Yes.
You speak your mind. Go right ahead, please.
Courtney, what are they doing on the airport stretch?
The airport stretch. I saw from a text that just came out that they're putting a planter in the middle of it to stop people from racing.
That's the purpose of it?
That's what I was made to understand.
You mean with all the enforcement we have here, we have to spend that much money to stop people from racing?
It's called Band-Aid mentality.
But they could still race on the one side?
Not if they put a planter in the middle of the road.
Why not? They speed up the same way like they're doing.
Yeah.
I was just concerned about what was going on there because I see there's a waste of funds.
Yes.
I don't know how you look at it.
Sounds like a waste of money to me.
It seems like a waste of
unless it's for beautification purposes.
More than funds. But like I was saying, we don't come to the public and discuss anything anymore. We just bill it and then we think. Anyway, Edmund, we have to wrap up.
We got to wrap up, Kurt.
Of course, we had a number of text and conversation with Anegada, Virgin Gorda, Joshua Dyke, and here on the mainland. So I think tonight we can truly say that we have finally reached the Virgin Islands.
We have?
Yeah, we finally reached the Virgin Islands. That is good. And of course, with the www.jtvlive.net, we know for sure that we're reaching the world. And this is the second time we're having a conversation with what I like to call the wider community, which means that we had communication with persons that are not here, because one of the texts that came out spoke to someone who doesn't live here and they wanted to know how to vote, or whether we have to find out, Edmund, for the next show.
Actually,
whether or not we have,
they were trying to find out about absentee ballots.
Yes, so we have to find out for the next show about this absentee ballot situation, right? We had a number of texts. I have to apologize for the ones that I hear coming in now that we definitely would not be able to read because we've reached the end. We've reached the end of the show. And Edmund, we had a wonderful show. We learned that one of the hotels are not treating people as well as they should. And I think that when these things come over live on the air, I think the people who are responsible for quality control in the tourism sector should look into them and ensure that it is not happening. And as a matter of fact, maybe they should put on seminars to
but I'm very unhappy about that.
Yes, because
I get along well with the people.
We have a golden opportunity, right? We have a cash cow in tourism, and you have to protect it. You can't just assume that it's going to be there tomorrow. You have to do whatever is possible to keep that golden goose laying those golden eggs.
Yes.
And Edmund, I think we had a wonderful show. I think we had a number of comments from a number of people in the community that made the show very interesting.
Right.
And unless you have anything else in the wrap up, I would like to say, you know.
No, Connie, all I would say is I want to thank those people who called in and express their gratitude and tell us that we indeed have a good show. We like the encouragement. We like to know that we are doing something. So we want you to continue to encouraging us in doing what we are doing, because we really want to make a contribution to our country and to our people.
Right. And on that note, Edmund, I say God bless the Virgin Islands and the people that live in it, and we'll see you again next week.